Cool. So we were going to talk about like a round table and kind of discuss about like what's been going on in the past several weeks with our businesses and kind of share and learn and grow from that. I was hoping to have a few more people on here, but that's all right. Hopefully we could get the chat going in the group when we post this. But last week I was in Dallas and went to the Build21 Conference is what they call it. And I'll share more information about that. But there's a lot of nuggets of information and motivation that I learned there that I wanted to share with everybody. And so we're going to start kind of like the first half of this is kind of talking about that, what it means. And then the second half of this, going to kind of open it up and kind of talk a little bit in depth of our business and kind of be vulnerable a little bit and just go, this is what I'm doing. It's going well. This is what I'm doing. It's not going well. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Well, what should I be doing? And I know I've had a kind of a change in my business, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Not necessarily a change, but more of a change of mindset and motivation. And maybe that's feeding off what I learned last week. But it's pretty exciting. I want to share. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and close these.
Really quick, Tony, my internet's like being awful, so I'm gonna hop out and redo my internet and hop back in, okay?
Okay, sounds good. So I think one of the biggest message that I learned from last week was that we got to build together. All right. And, I thought about this group, right now we have 5 agents under myself. And then we start talking about the larger group, above that is Jim Ragsdale, which is a part of our group. Above that is Mark Chambers, who's an icon agent, who's also part of our group and who we can lean on and learn from and, ask for help from. Above that is Alan Grulick, who's also a great resource, has been doing this business for a handful of years and has done really well. Also with a rev share, he's brought on 100 agents. You are part of the 100 agents under Alan Grulick. And then above him is Pat Hayes, who, if you haven't met Pat Hayes, he is like an awesome dude and just like a friendly guy that wants to help everybody out as much as he can. So it's just building this together, making sure that we have strong relationships and a good support system that's encouraging, that's all about success and there we go, get Christina back in, and also making it fun. We haven't done this, but they talked about having social events, and having get-togethers, and it's not all about business, but like making sure that we're having a good time, we connect well, and we're not just business partners, and that's all we talk about or think about. It's a lasting relationship, longer than other than just that. So Brad's joining us here. So that's the gist of it. And these are my takeaways from Build21. And I didn't put them in the slideshow, but these events, we want to put them on our calendar from here on out. I know I'm guilty of this, but I highly encourage us to put it on our calendar to hopefully plan to attend these events. Because number one, they're incredible. Think of like TMEA on steroids, and it was amazing. All right, the accommodations, everything about it is amazing. The next one's in November, EXPCon, and it's in Las Vegas. And I'm sure that's mind-blowing and tons of fun and very motivating. And you're surrounded by brilliant people that are highly successful that you can learn from. So you're not going to recognize some of these names. And quite frankly, I don't know some of these names. And these are just like little tidbits of great little nuggets that I got from these speakers throughout the 3-day conference. And we're just going to get started. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. Gene Frederick is one of like the godfathers of recruiting. So let me back up for 1 second. Build21 is more focused on revenue share, right? And they like the whole first day was kind of talking about how to build revenue share from literally people that are making $20,000 to $25,000 a month in revenue share, all the way up to $300,000, $400,000, $1 million a month in revenue share, which is just like I can't even fathom that. Like I would be extremely happy with like 5,000. I mean that and when I first got into this, Pat Hayes would always say, "This is life changing. This is life changing," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Okay, life changing, whatever." But I'm really starting to realize 2 years in how the model works, how it creates success in selling, but also opportunities to grow your business. Right? When you think about a traditional real estate business, obviously it starts with you sell real estate, right? And then every single Keller Williams, Century 21, Remax, you name it, they recruit agents to their company and they take a portion of their commission and they're building their business. Well, here at EXP, that's what we're building, but it's like it benefits us. And obviously the company benefits, but we benefit greatly, and there's no other brokerage quite like it. So this whole thing is kind of wrapped around it, but there's also a lot of just little motivation things to build your sales business as well. But Gene Frederick, who knows how much money he makes, but his whole thing was write down huge goals and carry them with you that make your friends and family think that you are crazy. I'm currently living with my parents right now, and it's actually not as bad as I thought. We're building a house and we're in the process of transitioning, but I love my mom to death. But when I kind of talk about some of my goals and what I dream, and I want to drive a Tesla, and I want to live in this type of house, and those things, she is of the mindset that that's crazy. That's just like, you can't afford that. Your beer budget and champagne taste, and it's like, no, like I'm gonna go work and make more money, so that I can afford those things without being ridiculous. So it's like, write down those huge goals, or at least know them. And I don't necessarily have those huge goals. I guess I've always wanted a luxury car, so I guess you could say that's one of my huge goals. But I do have like daily goals. If I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to be a good producer. I'm going to make more money, and I'm going to get there. I don't know. That just really stood out. He literally pulled it out of his jacket pocket, a wrinkled piece of paper with like his goals written down. And here's this multi-millionaire, and he still has these huge goals of it's not enough. I'm like, okay, cool. He was all about it. John Mikish, look up this name. I need to look it up. I can't remember what it was, but obviously a big producer. To speak on that stage, you have to be pretty big time, right? But you got to work hard for it. Change requires action. It doesn't just happen. You can't be a secret agent. You have to like put in the hard work. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Michael Valdez, he's the president of EXP Global. EXP is a gift, and you are selfish if you don't share it with people. All right. And that spoke to me. So these are like little nuggets that I jotted down as I'm listening to people. And like, it is a gift. I'm sitting there and there's multiple people that posted like, why aren't you at EXP? Like, it doesn't make sense to not be at EXP. All right. And there are other, like KW allegedly is like the best training company in the world, blah, blah, blah. But you're telling me that as an agent, I can take home a majority, if not all of my commission once I cap, which all of you should be capping. All right. It's honestly not that hard. It sounds far-fetched right now, but you can do it. I promise you. And then you get stock awards. You're able to earn stock in the company. And then all of a sudden you can, as soon as you bring on people in your revenue share network, you start earning money off of what they're doing. And it's just like no other company allows that. So like, this is changing other people's lives, and we should be sharing that with people. All right. Sheila Fergeron, she brought in like some of the big time recruiters, but work hard and smart. She said WISH was her little acronym, right? Work hard and smart, ignite the fire and stay motivated, be servant leadership, and have a humble heart. Those are like her things to think about. And your income is a direct reflection of your effort. And when you hear that, it's like, damn, that stings. That's like, oof. It's like my income's not where I want it to be. I guess I'm not really, but it's kind of true. It's like, if you worked hard and if you put in the time and if you did those things and committed to it, and the great thing about this business is you're more than likely going to be rewarded, so you just kind of have to look yourself in the mirror and go, what do I need to do? Together, everyone achieves more. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But all of these people, like I know Alan Grulick has literally had the president of EXP talk to an agent that he was trying to recruit to EXP. Like all of these people like are super accessible. Like you get on Workplace, you could literally talk with like Glenn Sanford, the founder, and that sounds far-fetched. I've never done it personally, but I've known several people that have done it. And they're like, yeah, like I literally just asked him a question and he responded. So like using those people above us to help us build what we want to build, right? Brent Gove is he pretty much put on the event and he hosts these events. He does one in Dallas every single year and he does one in Cabo every single year. So one of my new goals is I want to go to the Cabo event. Can you imagine how freaking awesome that would be, right? And if this was awesome in Dallas, I'm sure Cabo is on another level, right? But Brent Gove, I love this, it stuck with me. If you list 40 homes this year, that's a great year. Like you're like making a lot of money. But if you list 40 agents this year, that can literally change your life, right? And I was like, oh, that's blowing me away. I'm like, I know that some of you obviously are brand new and you're like, how am I going to attract agents? I was the same way. I was like, I don't know any agents. I haven't done any deals. Why would they want to come to me? I'm not saying you have to do this right away, but I want you to start realizing the potential of it. And I think if you actually put a little bit of thought behind it and go, actually, I do know agents that are outside of my market, and we'll talk about it a little bit. And then you start kind of just sharing that or introducing them to it, you'd be surprised at how that comes together. And then, of course, I love this one. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to go together. All right. Like they multiple times they said this, like it's a team thing. Like Pat Hayes, who's making over $100,000 a month and living in Rockport on his $2.7 million home. He will literally pick up a call from you and say, hey, let's talk to this person. Let's get him. Because guess what? It's going to help you out and your rev share, but it's also another agent for him. I mean, so it's a no-brainer. That's how the system is beautifully made. It's like, of course he's going to be interested in helping you because it helps him as well. All right. Jay Kinder, this guy, 4 times as much as Pat Hayes. He makes over $400,000 a month in rev share. And I saw that number and I was like, I thought Pat Hayes was amazing. Like this, it's like, holy shit. This is unbelievable. But everybody needs a good coach / mentor. I know when I met Shane Tokum here at North American, where I'm at right now, it changed me and changed the way that I thought. It educated me and put me in the right mindset. And I love this. He goes, be a great copycatter. Like there's been successful agents out there. Like go follow them, go see what they're doing on social media, go see what they're doing on open houses, go see what they're doing. It's all out there. The information is there. It doesn't need to be recreated. Like literally just go, okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing as that and maybe tweak it just a little bit. I'm going to put my name on it instead of their name. Right. But don't be afraid to kind of copy it, mindset, skills, and systems, all right, is the most important thing. All right. And where to find prospects. This is kind of what we're talking about. Agents you've met. So right now I'm sitting in a position. Now I am 2 years in, further along than you guys. But if I go back through all my transactions, it's like, okay, let's just say, I think it's more than this, but let's say I had 20 transactions. Well, there's 20 agents on the other side. That I had 20 different agents on the other side that I should be making contacts with and connecting to them through at least Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is that might lead to a conversation about EXP. All right, agents you haven't met. Cedric, he's pretty new to EXP, came from Cooper Sotheby's. His whole thing is he follows agents on social media. He's pretty active on social media and he just starts following them. He doesn't know them. He just sends them a friend request and then he starts liking their stuff. He leaves a comment, congratulations on your close, blah, blah, blah. And of course, he's from time to time, he's mentioning EXP, EXP, EXP. He's not even talking about EXP, but they obviously see it. Like Cedric DeQuinn sent me a message, congratulating me on my close, and they click on his name, and of course EXP is right there. So don't be afraid to do that. That's something that I plan on implementing. Make a list of agents that you know and think outside of your market. Ask friends that live in other cities, all right, maybe across the country, if who they know, who their go-to realtor is, right? Hey, you live in Phoenix, you just bought a house. Who was your realtor? All right. And then look them up and maybe send them a message. And hey, I'm friends with so-and-so. They just bought a house with you. Congratulations. Just wanted to connect. I'm here in San Antonio. If you ever know anybody moving to San Antonio, please let me know. Fairly easy, and just put it out there. Blake Corey, say it, proclaim it. You are who you say you are. You got to believe it. Do your disciplines match your why? All right. So you say that you want a luxury car. You say you want that house. You know why you want it. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel proud. But are your disciplines matching that? How bad do you want it? Right? Are you really taking the actions on the day-to-day to achieve, growth towards your goals? Your shoulds need to become must. Right. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. And this is why I'm so passionate about this, is kind of what I'm going through right now. But we'll get to that in a little bit. If you want more, you have to become more. All right. You can't do the same thing that you've been doing every day and expect more. Right. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's just like, I've done X and Y, all right, for 2 years and I'm here. But now I'm also wanting to go beyond here. So now I got to do Z, AA, BB. I got to do other things to get me to that next level. All right. Got lost here. Yeah. Success is something that you attract. All right. By the person you become. Funny thing is, when I saw this and I wrote it down here, I thought about pretty much all of you. Like all of you, for the most part, pretty much reached out to me about real estate and EXP, and it's like, why is that? I mean, I didn't go after you for whatever reason. I didn't try to recruit you. And it feels weird to say this because I'm honestly a pretty humble person, but it's because you probably saw that I was pretty successful in the business. You're probably like, hey, this guy's doing pretty well. Like, what's going on? Like, he seems to be doing well. Let me find out what's going on. All right. And I truly believe success breeds success. All right. And when you have a successful program, a successful business, people gravitate to that. So I'm a big believer in that. Don Hobbs, he's the president of Success Magazine, which is technically, you are an owner of Success Magazine because it is under EXP World Holdings, I believe is what they call it. But more of the same gets you more of the same. Change your thinking and then change your actions. All right. Pretty self-explanatory, but I think still pretty powerful to share and think about. Andrew Franklin, biggest team in all of America for EXP out of Houston, Texas. Add contacts every day. This is more, day 2 was in the morning, was all about business building. So we're going to get into that a little bit here. Add contacts every day. You have to have multiple spokes to your business. So you can't just say my business is only Sphere. That's all I do, right? Maybe 2-3 years in, maybe it is because you're getting so many referrals because you've done a great job in your first 2 years, right? But you need to have another spoke, which could be open houses, leads from there. Another spoke that may be online leads, or another spoke that's social media, all right? Another spoke that's Facebook Marketplace. So you need to kind of have multiple avenues of business so that when one kind of dries up or slows down, you still got these other ones turning. Train 2 hours a week by reading or learning from others. Part of my thing is I try to read every day for 30 minutes. And most of the time I do, but if I don't, anytime I'm in the car, I'm listening to an audible book. All right. That's about business. That's about growing mindset, etc. I'm a big believer in that because it's the words that you're feeding your brain, right? Have to be positive and growing. Raymond Casas, real young dude in New Mexico, who's pretty much built from zero to successful. Apply things right now and make it happen. Be authentic and be yourself. Do events in your community to become known. It's not important of who you know. It's what's important is who knows you, and who knows you, and they know that you do real estate, right? So it needs to be going back to you can't be a secret agent. Like it doesn't need to be obnoxious and like you're slamming people, real estate, real estate, real estate. That's all it is, real estate, but post a story, post 2 stories, mix it up with personal stuff as well. But when people think of you, they should be thinking, oh yeah, they're in real estate without hesitation. All right. Daniel Beer, it's a 90-day world. Take 2 or 3 things and apply them. Apply them. I guess I mistyped. Take 2 or 3 things and apply them. And put your head down and work hard. All right. For the next 90 days, I'm going to do this and this, and I'll kind of talk to you about what I'm doing. And stop looking for perfect. Just do it and learn from it. All right. I think that's pretty powerful. I think we hesitate and we're like, oh, I don't want to write that email because it doesn't look right. And it's a whatever it is. I do the same thing. Trust me, all these things that I'm preaching literally to myself and you. I'm going, I need to be doing these things. I know it, but I need to do it. Right. It needs to become a must. Tom Trong, an Asian guy, crazy story how he came over from escaped Vietnam, and now he's super successful realtor in Boston. Why are you building this? For him, his family. It's all about his family and what they came from and what they didn't have, and how he literally worked, multiple paper routes to earn money, and it's all about providing and what he could do for his family. What sacrifices are you going to make your life better? What I mean, obviously I'm not saying that we should give up everything in our life and only focus on business, right? That's not a healthy balance. But you need to go, hey, if I was in a normal job, I would be in the office from 9 to 5 with a lunch break, right? I need to treat it like a normal job, not I don't really need to work, So those are the type of sacrifices, right? That's what I believe. Because I'll tell you what, past couple of weeks, I've been shutting it down at 4:00, and I feel great. I worked pretty damn hard during the day. 4:00, I'm done, and I'm playing video games at 4:30, and that's how I decompress. And like I have a balance, and I feel good about it because I felt like I accomplished a good amount during the day, and I'm prepared for the next. All right. So to get there early and stay late. This guy is just hard work, right? And I think if you look at anybody that's built anything from the ground up, there's no short, easy way about it. Like it's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some time. You gotta commit. Tony Robbins was obviously the last day. That was the highlight. That was pretty amazing. He was great. He's everything that you hear of. If you haven't listened to his book, Power, what is it? The Power Within? Can't remember what the name of it. I think it's The Power Within. Unleash the Power Within. That's it. My bad. And then I follow like a bunch of mindset things on YouTube that I listen to like in the shower. And I just kind of infiltrate my brain to not think anything but success driven, like hunger, like this is it. But these are a bunch of points that I took from him. The most important trait is hunger. All right. And some of the most successful people came from like nothing. Like, so they literally were like, I had to work my ass off. I had no choice. And the great thing is hopefully none of us are in that position to where it's like, oh my God, I don't know where my next paycheck is coming or whatever it is, but it's like, you got to be hungry no matter what. I'm sitting in the most successful position financially that I've ever been in my life. but I'm hungry for more. Does that make me greedy? I don't think so. I just want more. I want to grow. I want to go to the next level, and so that's my hunger right now. What are you going to focus on? What does it mean? And what am I going to do about it? All right. So the same thing can happen to you and I, all right, but you react to it completely different. You go down, all right, and oh my God, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, all right, and this happens to me too, vice versa. Like this happens all the time. It's hard, right? It's hard to be switch that mindset, and the other person's like, damn, that really sucks. Okay, well here we go. Let's pick up the pieces and go. Let's figure this out. And so it's how you react to things, not what necessarily what happens to you. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. All right. Hunger and energy are going to change your life. Energy is the key. Where do we get energy from? Energy is a habit. All right. The more you move, the more energy you have. Emotion comes from motion. All right. And sometimes, I mean, majority of the time, I'm pretty laid back and pretty chill. And I don't know what it is. But like when I'm talking like this and teaching and communicating, you probably notice that I use my hands a lot. And I don't know why I do that. It's just a habit. But I'm like physically into it, and you kind of have to be. And we did this little training where it's like, it was really awkward, not gonna lie. But he's like, turn to your partner and sell them on, I don't know what he said, sell them on these shoes. But I want you to pretend like they're not going to buy it, you're going to get a no, and they're not interested. So when it's like, I'm like, hey man, these shoes are really cool, this is great, don't you want to buy them? And then he was like, okay, cool, that was your posture. Now sell it like it's the most amazing item you've ever seen in your life, and this is why they need to buy it. Everybody, like, you literally know how to turn it on. Like everybody does. It's like, oh, this is awesome, whatever it is. But it's the energy that's the key. Energy is a habit. The more you move, the more energy. Emotion comes from motion. Your state controls everything. All right, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but your mindset is your state. Like, how am I in a positive, Ninja Selling talks about this. Can't remember the exact term, but it's like a positive. And what do you need to do to get yourself in a positive, because that's when you're most productive. All right. What and why, then belief and certainty, followed by massive action, will earn you your potential. All right. So many people go, how am I going to do that? How am I going to sell a house? How am I going to blah, blah, blah? All right. You need to figure out what you want and why you want it is the first step. And this is kind of, it didn't blow my mind, but as this is making more sense. And then if you don't believe that you can do it, it's never going to happen. I think we go, I want this. This is why I want it. But I think most of us don't believe and are certain that's going to happen. All right. When I got into this, I didn't know how I was going to sell my first house. But I knew, looking at my bank account, I was like, I got 10 months to figure this shit out. I know I'm going to figure it out in 10 months, surely, and hopefully I figure it out sooner than then. Right. But I just knew that it was going to happen, and then once you believe it, right, that this is what's going to happen, you obviously have to follow it up with massive action. You have a strategy. This is how I'm going to do it. This is when you figure out the how, right? And then I'm going to take massive action, and I'm going to fulfill my potential, right? That's a pretty awesome graph there that he showed. What is a breakthrough, right? A moment in time where everything changes and the impossible becomes possible. You have to actually do it and not just have the idea. And you have to take massive action, right? And he's all about, he says massive action quite a bit, and that's honestly what really everything boils down to, is if you're not taking, first of all, take action, then take more action, and then take massive action, right? Like, even if you're not feeling it, you should be at least committing minimum an hour or two a day to building your real estate business, or talking to people, or sending text messages, whatever it is. Do I do that every single day? No, I don't. I'm not going to lie to you. But are there days that when I start like really committing to taking massive action and I'm there, from my set time to my end time, I walk away from those days going, that was a damn good day and I feel good about it. All right. And because of the connections I made and because of the communication I had, I know the success is going to come. I know the results are going to come. All right. 3 keys to a breakthrough, and this is in reverse order. All right. Get a strategy. All right. I'm not saying my strategy is the right one for you to use. I do believe it. I do think I found a point where I knew that I was like, if anytime I got in a lull, I know that if I just went, I'm going to do an open house every single weekend for the next month and a half, 2 months, my business is going to go back up. Like that for me, that's what clicked. And I was like, okay, that's a strategy, right? There's a million other strategies that you're probably overwhelmed with, right? But find a strategy that works, stick to it, all right? Do the uncomfortable every day and you will live your dreams, right? Train your brain to go. Like, it's like, hey, it's time to do this, go. Like, don't think about it, just do it. The real strategy is massive action. All right. Make everything a habit and pick 2 goals that you're going to crush in the next 90 days. You then need to change your story. So you're telling your story. Your story right now is, well, I don't have any leads and I don't have anything under contract right now. And I don't know if this is really working. Am I really cut out for this? Is this something that's going to be successful? It's not going to be if that's your story. If you're telling yourself that, it's not going to be. Like, and a lot of this stuff is easier said than done. And when I first got into the business, I heard mindset. And it's like, the more I'm in it, I'm like, yeah, it's a mindset of just freaking do something, do anything. You could pull up your freaking phone and start commenting on every single post that you see on Facebook. That is literally something. You are doing action, right? And then that's going to lead to the next action. It still blows my mind. I mean, there are days in the past 2-3 weeks that I didn't really want to do it. I was like, oh God. And then I just did one thing. And I just like opened my computer and opened my screens and I contacted one person. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, let me just contact them. Well, that was easy. Let me contact the next person. Oh, let me contact them. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I just worked for a couple hours and it was pretty good. And because it's all about starting, just do one thing. And I promise you, it'll lead to another. We all get what we tolerate. All right. If we're okay with what we got, then we're okay with what we got. We're not going to grow. All right. Get rid of your limiting beliefs. You haven't tried everything. Get rid of your bullshit stories and excuses. All right. It's a reality check, but a lot of the stuff is what you're telling yourself, what you're feeding your brain. I joke with my mom every day. She wakes up and turns on the damn Fox News. And I'm not getting all political or anything, but it's like all news stations are talking about shitty things that are going on in the world. And you're literally like, your brain is taking in all this shit. So what do you think you're going to feel like if you're just taking in all this shit? Rick talks about this all the time. You want your business to do well? Stay away from like bad social media, stay away from news, stay away from all the articles that say, oh my God, the real estate market's going to crash. Oh my God, realtors are going to lose their jobs. I don't listen to any of that shit. Yeah, do I hear it? Yeah, but I don't. I just don't. I don't want to feel, oh God. I don't want to feel that. All right. I choose to go, I'm going to read something positive. I'm going to listen to Tony Robbins that pumps me up. I'm going to go work out that makes me feel good. I'm going to break a sweat. I'm going to like get ready for the day and dress for success. I'm going to go to the office, get in my car and get out of the house. I'm going to do those things that make me feel good. All right. Rather than hearing bullshit, really. And it's like, God, this is how depressing. Right. And then you change your state, right? Change it instantly. It's a choice. And you take action and you move to create emotion. All right. Again, easier said than done. I mean, when you get really bad news, you're going to feel down. It's going to be a blow. But how long do you stay in that state? How long can you get yourself out of that state by changing something? I've been in that state plenty of times. What are the things that I do to get me out of that state? I get into listening to music, reading, something, going for a walk outside, just take a walk, and get some fresh air, and allow yourself to think and take in the coolness. I remember Keith Winking telling me when I was going through a bad time. Keith Winking, my trumpet teacher at Texas State, he's like, I know you're really down right now. He goes, on the way home, I want you to do everything that you like to do. He goes, what do you like to eat? Go eat that. What do you like to do for fun? Play video games. Go do that. Where do you like to go to the pool? Go to the pool. Like, put yourself in the environments that make you feel good. All right. So that was good. So all of this to say kind of my current story, and it all kind of started with, and I'm going to use Jim Ragsdale as a reference. He called me and we had a personal conversation that I won't really go into any detail, but it just kind of clicked for me. For whatever reason, I was down. I was like, this is kind of in a rut. Not terribly. I mean, I'm still having business and things are good, but I just wasn't feeling really motivated. And we were just kind of going back and forth, and it just freaking clicked. And I got a video from a lender that was like a motivational thing, and I listened to it, and I just realized to myself, I was like, everything that I'm telling myself is a bullshit excuse. Like, if you really boil down everything that you say, everything is an excuse. Every single thing is an excuse. And it just clicked with me. I was like, no, I got to change it. It became a must to me. So for me, like, I've gained weight in my gut, and I have this gut, and I've told myself for years, oh, it's the Ruiz gut. My dad has it. My uncles have it. It's just genetics. It's what happens. Well, my brother doesn't have this gut. Now he's 3 years younger than me, right? But I believed that I was just going to have a gut. And then I would work hard, I would work out, but I told myself that I'm going to work out to maintain my weight, all right? So I don't get bigger, all right? And then I was like, but I'm still unhappy with my gut, and I just chose, like, 2.5 weeks ago, that I am going to do 2 workouts a day. I do a lift and a HIIT workout in the morning, and I walk at least 1.5 miles and hopefully 3 miles at night. So 2 workouts a day. That was different. I'm going to drink nothing but water or Topo Chicos. All right. And then I'm going to pretty much get rid of all carbs. No more breads, no more anything that makes me feel bloated. I'm going to eat more vegetables, which is shocking for most of you that know me. All right. And there was a couple other things that I've done in that, but it was just things that I was like, if I do these things and commit to that and make it a must, I'm going to see results. I believed it. Like, for the first time in my life, I'm like, I can get rid of this gut. It's going to happen if I just do these things. All right. And I'm super excited about it. I haven't felt this good in a long time. I haven't measured myself. I did measure my weight. It's gone down below 170 for the first time in a long, long time. And I was like, wow, that's really cool to see, 2.5 weeks in. And this process is an 8-week program. So I can't wait to see what happens in 8 weeks if I stay committed to these actions that I'm taking. As far as my business journey, I've talked about the greatness tracker and what that means and how we use it this hasn't become a must to me yet. And I realized it yesterday. This is this week, and it was pretty good. All right. But for me to take it to the next level, I must contact 5 people on social media. I must contact 10 people. Most of this is follow up because I have, people interested or working things. I must contact 5 people in my database, and I must write 2 real estate reviews, and I must write 2 personal notes or thank you notes. It's not quite there, but I realized it like yesterday. I was like, that hasn't become a must. I should do that. And that's what my focus is. I did not want to do an open house this weekend. I knew I should. And I told myself, I need to take massive action. All right. And so I signed up for an open house. I found one. I was like, screw it. I'm going to do an open house. All right. And I have one booked. And it's like, to get more, you have to do more. Right. To get more, you have to do more. And you got to suck it up and do it. But going back to kind of my routine, I shared that on the group. My alarm clock has been going off at 5:50. I wake up. I work out at 6:30. At 7:30, I'm doing meditation and quiet time and journaling. And at 8 o'clock, I'm doing a social media post. At 8:30, I'm showering. And that sounds crazy structured and crazy weird and awkward, but it's like, that shit works. It's called time blocking. All right. And it's like, this is what we did the same thing when we taught. All right. Yes. First period starts at this time. Second period, lunch is here. It's like, do that. And whatever works for you. I know all of our schedules are different, but you can find time in the day to do that. And it's all about making those appointments with yourself and sticking to them. All right. Like nothing can interrupt that time. All right. So, I'm sorry that went a little bit long. I think we still have a little bit of time. What time did we start? We started at 2:15, so we're a little bit in. And we don't have everybody on here, but this is the time about the round table. So I kind of told you my story, of like what's going on with me. Kind of talk to me about your story. I know Brad's probably tied up, can't talk. Either one of y'all want to start, Christina or Miranda? Just kind of talk about what you're doing, what you're struggling with, what you hope to, improve upon, whatever that is.
I don't know if the music is really loud. Can you hear it?
We can hear the music, but it's not terrible.
It's not terrible. I think for me, it's just like I haven't really given the business like an actual try, and I'm about to get my license also in Kansas City because this is where I'm at currently, and I'm excited for the possibilities, but it is like I get super hesitant and I get extremely scared of like not being successful. Like I know I shouldn't compare myself, but especially like in the shadows of Tony, like he was successful very quickly. So sometimes I'm like, okay, I have to be successful real quickly. So just like understanding that, like he said, I just have to work the steps and I'll be fine. But easier said than done in my head sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a totally normal fear. And I did it quickly, but I didn't do it quickly. So, everybody has their own path. And honestly, one of the most successful realtors in San Antonio, Carmen Bean, over $700,000 a year just selling real estate. I mean, I'm sure she has some rev share, but that's literally just selling real estate. She probably had one of the slowest first years on record, and it's like,
right. And I know that, there are stories like that. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be fine. But I think it's just giving it the chance fully and doing all the steps and taking this, like he said, extremely seriously to where you have your work day and not work one day and take 2 off. Like consistency has to happen. So I'm excited to go in once I get the Kansas City license. It should be in about a week or so. So
I think you're gonna kill it. I've said that for a long time. Two quotes that I think about when I listen to you talk about that is fail forward. And I just had a showing with Barrett Insurance. Like this guy makes a lot of money, and we were showing him a nice house in Helotes. And he was just talking about his drive and his motivation, and fail forward. Like okay, you're gonna fail, but it's still moving forward, and you're gonna learn from it, and you're gonna fail again, and you're still gonna learn from it, and then the other one is you haven't failed until you quit. And it's like I love that one. That's pretty awesome. Again, that's just I know these are kind of cliche, but like you need to hear that like 10 times.
they're like little mantras you gotta
Like I
tell
had
yourself.
I that didn't work and I learned from it, and now we're going to keep moving forward. And I think it's just super super important that we feed ourselves with that kind of energy. So just think about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Christina, sounds like you're up.
I feel like pretty good about how stuff's going. I'm still only a month and a half in, so I don't really feel like, oh, it's so slow and way behind. Like it's only been a month and a half. But on one hand, I also know like some stuff I was doing early on, like I would every morning write in like my planner and just have like 6 things to get done because I really only have like 3 to 4 hours to really dedicate to work. And I would get it done, and then I would put a little arrow if I didn't get it done and do it the next day. And in the past week or so, I've kind of stopped filling that out, and I'm getting less done. Like big surprise, like if I fill it out, I'm gonna do it. So I need to get back into that. I'm kind of envious. Like I have another friend that just started real estate, and like she gets a call, she can like go meet someone, and like I can't do that. And but again, it's not that it's like a completely bullshit excuse. I literally have like a 2-year-old, I can't tote him around, but like it's okay, I can still work another time. I can work when my husband gets home, I can work on weekends. Like it's okay. So I need to not let that like get me down, like that I can't do that kind of stuff.
No, I agree, and the time blocking is super important, and hopefully, you know, even if it's not a consistent like I do it at this time every single day, maybe it is, because your child's on it.
It is, yeah.
So,
He's pretty on a good schedule. Yeah.
like, okay, I gotta fucking work. Like,
Yeah.
I got limited time. I got like how much
Yeah.
you could like make a game out of it and go, how much shit can I get done in this 3 hours? Like, damn.
Where are you located, Christina?
I'm here in San Antonio in the SeaWorld area.
Okay. One of the things that I know Tony has done, and I met with a realtor here in Kansas City, and she doesn't really have a team, but maybe like help it, like Tony was saying, like working together. And if you need someone to like show a house for you, like we can, help each other out. I mean, obviously I'm not there right now, but when I'm back and Tony's there too, that's something that Tony has done for people and people have done for Tony when he's out of town. Maybe just like ask for help in showing houses if you're tied up and you're not going to be able to do that for the day. But I just thought I'd share.
Yeah, thanks. That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. There's times I've called Mark Chambers, who's highly successful and very, very busy, but it's like, I'm going to try him anyways. And he'll be like, man, I'll do it, and he'll do it, so you use the sources that you have around us, know that you're not alone. All right. And so, yeah, those are all good things. So I met with Shane, all right, on Monday. He's my coach, and I met with him this morning again, and we're really good friends now. And pretty much anytime he has an opening, he's like, "Hey, you want to grab breakfast?" I was like, "Yeah, sounds good." So I shared his thing on Monday with all of y'all and kind of asked, what are your plans for this week or whatever it is. And then he was getting like pushy. He was like, "Have you asked to see their list of database? Have you seen their databases yet? Or have you seen, like, are they taking the action that they're supposed to be taking?" And I was like, number one, I don't like to be pushed, in that type of way, but and I'm not asking to see it or anything, but do y'all have a list? And the reason I mention it is because I just met with Charles, who's pretty new as well. And he was like, I want to start this business, even though I'm teaching. How do I do it? Right. And I was like, well, first of all, go watch the videos that I've been posting. And then I was like, you need to start with a list. You need to start with a list of names. And if you don't have a list of names, then you don't really have a real estate business yet. All right. Your list of names will literally start with mom and dad, put their name down. Brothers and sisters, put their name down. And honestly, I mean, this can be paralyzing to a lot of people. A lot of new agents are paralyzed by, well, what do I literally write their name down on a spreadsheet? Don't even write a phone number, an email address, an address. Like, just literally write the names down of your family, your extended family, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, and it just literally starts branching off from there. Your coworkers, your past coworkers, the people you went to college with, the people, it just starts growing and growing. The people that are on Facebook. If you don't know who to add, go to Facebook and go to your friends and start scrolling and be like, oh shit, yeah, let me add them to my list, and then, or just simply go to your phone, go to your contacts and go, oh yeah, let me add them to my list. You literally have their phone number. For one reason or another, you got their phone number, and at one time or another, you probably talked to them. So it's like, put them on the list, start building that list out, right? Don't even worry about sorting it yet. That's another step down the road that I'm honestly barely getting to, all right? And then once you have those names, then just put phone numbers. They're probably in your phone, and then put email addresses, and then put addresses, mailing addresses. Most of these you can go, well, I don't have an email address and I don't have a mailing address. That is literally the perfect reason to call them or text them or Facebook message them. So you might see a friend, somebody you would call a friend of yours on Facebook that you don't have their phone number. That's okay. You have them on Facebook, send them a message and say, hey, what's your phone number? I want to be able to get in contact with you. And it dawned on me like yesterday and this morning, and I talked to Shane about it. We overthink this so much, including myself. I'm still overthinking it, but it literally is, hey, Miranda, how are you doing? What's going on? How's your day going? That's literally all you have to say. You don't have to talk about real estate. You don't have to say, hey, I'm in real estate now. Just wanted to let you know. It's going to come up, naturally, typically. But even if you just make a contact and talk about the 4 questions: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Hey, how's the family? So as I'm meditating today, I thought about 2 people. I immediately texted them when I wrapped up, and they immediately responded. Boom, those are touches. I asked Joseph Espinoza, hey man, how are you doing? How's the start of school? That's it. And there's a response. And we didn't talk about real estate. Obviously, he knows I'm a realtor. It will probably come up at some point or another. All right. But it's a contact. And Rick Morales, I saw him several weeks ago. His cousin or his brother-in-law closed on a house. And I don't know why I thought about Rick. I have no idea why Rick popped in my head. But I literally just texted him, hey man, just thinking about you. How's your day going? How's everything going? Hope the family's doing well. And he was like, hey man, just passed my loan officer test on Monday. Things are great. And I was like, awesome, congratulations, that's so cool, let's get together. Sounds great, man, cool, have a good day. That was it. And there's a connection there, and there's just that, and that just continues to grow. All right. I wouldn't have closed that deal if it wasn't for Rick and Leah and being friends with Rick and Leah. I wouldn't have never met his brother-in-law, so that was literally a deal that came through them, just because of a connection. All right. So don't overthink it. Work the ninja system that we've talked about. Do the social media. Talk to your database. The middle section might be a little weird because it technically reads great phone calls with leads, referral partners, past clients, and current clients. Now, luckily, I'm at a point where my pipeline is fairly big. I want it to be bigger, but I have plenty of people in my pipeline that I can call that fit into leads, referral partners, past clients, or current clients. Now, when I call my friend Joseph, I put him in my database because he's not really actively doing anything, right? So I choose to label it as my database down here, all right? And then the real estate reviews and the thank you cards obviously is something separate, but social media could literally be in it. I put Janice Shanahan, who used to, her and her husband used to drive the great white truck at Churchill. And I noticed it was her birthday today. So I sent her a text message. Happy birthday, Janice. I hope you and Lyndon are doing well. I wrote her name down. She hasn't responded. That's fine. All right. But I'm going to make a note of that. So just to stay in contact with her from maybe it's every month, maybe it's every two, hopefully it's at least once a quarter, And then what I'm trying to implement, and by God, I'm going to do it this weekend, is I am going to start my email train of things going out to pretty much everybody that I have. It's
I will ask you about it next Thursday.
All right, challenge. Yeah, so it's supposed to be an evidence of success is this first one. That's going to be the first one coming out, and it's just going to be pretty much a picture from my closing on Friday, and probably a couple closings because I haven't really mentioned several that have happened recently. But it's just going to be an evidence of success. That because let's face it, some of the people that you have in your database aren't going to be on social media, and vice versa, right? So I post a decent amount of stuff on social media, and those people see it, and it's great. But some of the older people or other people that aren't active on there, they might see that email and go, oh yeah, Tony. So really all I want to do is kind of be top of mind or popping my face and my name and my logo popping up in their email from at least once a month minimum. All right, that's the goal. So we could talk about that later. And Brad actually has done a great job in working really hard and figuring out his email. He sent it to me. I was really impressed. So we'll probably have to talk about that maybe next time. So, well, cool. Anything else y'all want to talk about or ask?
Really quick, I am having trouble finding open houses. I had a couple weeks where I couldn't do it because of COVID, and then I tried to book one and then it got under contract, and now I'm just I guess I'm scared that if it's been on the market less than a week, it's not going to be there by the weekend.
You're scared is a bullshit excuse.
Oh my God, fuck you.
But I mean, it's valid. It is valid. But you're literally telling yourself as you're looking through those, that would be good, but it's probably going to be gone.
And then it is gone.
You're right to an extent.
Because I prospect, I put them all in a spreadsheet, and then I check in again on Wednesday, Thursday, it's gone. And I'm like, well.
I would recommend that you maybe steer away from the newbies, from the new houses.
That's what I've been doing. And I mean, I guess also it's just in my area, because I'm trying to stay kind of close to where I'm at, just because, it's driving out there twice a day. It's all freaking open house, open door. They're all freaking open door in my area. Everything that's been on the market longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's interesting. You might want to spin that and look at it differently. You might want, let's say your neighborhood, and let's say you do a market report on your neighborhood, and well, I know you're against this, but you might go knock on some doors and go, hey, did you know that this house just sold for this? Did you know that this house, I just wanted to give you this information with my number on it. If you ever consider selling your house, please let me know, because that should have sold for more. And you could probably even compare. I'm sure if you did a little bit of research on your market report, you could go open door sold for this, and the average listed with an agent sold with this.
Yeah.
Before, because it sounds like people are willing to sell. What were you gonna say, Miranda?
Oh, also, I I guess asking within our group too, like Mark and Jim, Tony, if they have any listings, then you can do an open house for them. I did a few before Mark. So, I mean, hopefully they'll take priority, right, for us rather than another agent. So I guess I'll just check with them too.
That's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up because, because there'll be times where I'm like, here's my hot spot. I want to be Churchill 250 to 350. And I look through there, I'm like, nothing looks worthwhile, and then I'll move to like, okay, the Johnson area. And sometimes I'm like, nothing's looking great. And then, I'll call Mark or Alan and go, hey, y'all have any listing? Or you could look it up and go, hey, your listing, can I do an open house this weekend? They're gonna be like, yeah, sure, do it. Now again, that kind of goes out of your way typically, so broaden your search. There's the man, the myth, the legend.
I've been here the whole time.
I know. I've seen you there, but
Hi.
Hey guys.
Yeah. So, hopefully that helps a little bit. Again, don't go after the new, especially as weird as it sounds. Like obviously you want like the most attractive house, but those are also probably going to go really quick. So find a good location. The open house that I did recently wasn't the greatest looking house.
The one I was at with you to do that. Yeah, that house was terrible, but you got like 4 good contacts from it, And
like 2 of them already said, I look forward to working with you. And the third one is like, not till the end of the school year, but I have that contact, so like that one, not very cute house, but in a location off of a road is a possibility of 3 deals. Now they're not tomorrow, right? But one is like about to start looking, so just be flexible and have open-minded and go, well, let me try another area. Maybe I drive a little bit further. But that's what I would think about.
Okay.
Brad, did you have anything you wanted to share? You're just killing it.
Well, I'm just kind of doing I was telling Tony, we talked earlier today that I felt like the first maybe month, I'm kind of right there with Christina, that like I've been doing this maybe a week or 2 longer than you, but I was overwhelmed with all the possibilities of ways to go and people, selling this coaching program or doing this or this system. And I felt like I kind of floundered there for a little while. And then I finally just kind of sacked up and decided I'm gonna do this one. And I've been kind of pretty much following what Ricky Carruth does, which is calling around geo leads and I have like one of my goals is to move on past just geo leads, but I've really just been doing that because I felt like it was the for sale by owner is getting attacked by agents up here. And the geo lead one is you're literally reaching out to help people. And that felt like it was more in line with where I'm coming from. Like I want to feel like someone who helps people, not someone who strong arms people to do things so I can go buy a nice car. You know what I mean? Like, I've been cranking with that. I did the Red X leads on that, and I try to call for 3. I did like 3.5 hours yesterday morning, trying to do that at least 3 times, but really I want to do it 5 times a week. The one thing I need maybe Tony to kick my ass on is the open house thing. Like I've reached out and struggled getting that, and then kind of given up on it maybe just because I'm doing other things, but I really want to make that happen soon. The email thing is something I've been working on a lot over the last few weeks, and I kind of developed a template on my own that I shared with Tony, but the problem with that is you send it out as an attachment, and it doesn't populate in the email the way that we see emails from any, you know, major source. So I actually talked to Constant Contact again yesterday, and for $20 a month, they create the email for you and you track everything that's happening with it. So I pulled the trigger on that. I'm going to give that a few months to see if I like that system or if I can figure it out on my own. There was a couple other little sites I looked at where you can build your own emails, because the whole deal is getting the HTML right for it to like look and populate and look slick like you want it to. Like I developed on the newsletter and pages on my Mac, but so I'm going to give that a shot. But really for me, if there's like 3 things I'm trying to really push right now is keep calling 9 to 12 every morning, keep sending out a weekly email. I'm going to try to, all the numbers I have, I'm doing a monthly text, and a lot of those are same people. So I don't want to like do a weekly text and a weekly email. And then the third one that maybe Tony will kick my ass into happening is the open house thing. And besides that, that's kind of what's going on over here. I had a listing appointment a couple of weeks ago with a guy who was trying to decide if he was going to keep renting or selling it. And I feel like it went well. But I think that he wanted to keep that. He had a weird scenario where he wanted to have control over who it sold to, because his dad lives next door and he lives across the street. So I think he's going to keep listing it for a little while, or keep leasing it for a little while. And then I've had some success on the calls, a couple guys that like are looking to buy before the end of the year that I'm staying in touch with and build my database. I'm up to like from the calling, I think I have 40, you know, people that I've added to that list. And I mean, the numbers suck, guys. Like 40 is out of calling 800, you know what I mean? But it's just, you know, that's what you do until you like Tony has his, you know, his pipeline. Until you have that, you gotta, it's a numbers game. Like how many people are you calling? How many people are you talking to every day? And I'm trying to commit to that system.
Yeah, Brad, I applaud you, and I know that, you know, that because I've been there too, where you're going, man, I'm doing all this shit and nothing's happening yet.
Right.
You know? And I told the same thing to Mark Chambers and Alan, and they're like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing. Like you're doing way more action than 95% of the agents in DFW. Like you probably don't believe that, but as you get into the business longer, you're like, yeah, most of these agents suck and aren't doing shit. You know, so like you're literally doing a lot. Like there's a lot of action that you're doing, and I know it's frustrating sometimes, but yeah, you're obviously not having trouble doing things. You know, so just continue to do those things, stay with it. I had a couple quick questions. The weekly email, are you getting any like negative reaction from, say, your like sphere, your people that you know really well, as far as like, leave us alone, you're emailing us every week?
I'm not doing it to my sphere.
Okay. And that's,
I'm only doing it with the database that I've picked up from the GeoLead calls. And you know, you were talking about that earlier ago. I was trying to unmute and when I was in the car, but I'm looking at those as separate databases because I feel like the connection and communication to those needs to be different. One sees you simply as an agent, period. And the other sees you as something else that happens to be an agent. And I just think this is totally, I'm pulling this out of my ass. Like I'm not, no one told me to do this, but I just feel like those require a different touch. There's some nuance in the difference between the two. I
completely agree. I had the same conversation this morning as I'm in my head developing what I want to do with my sphere and my email. And I'm sitting on 171 open house leads for my first year. Screw it. Those guys are going to get a weekly email from me, and I'm just going to bam, bam, bam. And if they unsubscribe, whatever, I still have 150, you know, and just go. But again, I don't want to do that to my personal people. You know what I'm saying? That side of it should be personal, you know, and this is me as Brad, not, hey, I'm a realtor, you know, hey, this is me as Tony, and I care about you, and I care about our relationship, and building that. So I think that's not far off at all. That's exactly what I plan on doing. So now when I'm sitting at this open house, I've been saying it for years, like literally I can say that now, years, that I'm going to organize my database, because I literally have like 600 names in my KV core, you know, but y'all know how unorganized I am. It's just like, you know, it's just like, oh my God. So it's like, okay, these are my VIPs. These are my badass people that I never want to offend and never want to lose touch with. And these are all the people that I've just met along the way at open houses or whatever. And you can hashtag them on KV Core. So, I mean, I plan on going, okay, here are my 3 to 5 hashtags. And I'm literally going to go one by one and go, this person deserves this. This person's a VIP. This person's a level 1, you know, like a 5-star recruit compared to a 1-star recruit, you know, and maybe that's what it is. Like, these are my 5 stars and these are my 1 stars, and they're just getting almost not junk mail, but real consistent stuff thrown at them, you know. So I completely agree. That's good.
Cool.
Well, sweet. Well, I appreciate you joining and sharing that with us. I know I got something out of it. So that's what the whole idea is. And I'll be posting this on, obviously, the group, and posting more stuff about the upcoming events. The Ricky Carew thing, I know Brad said that he's interested. Obviously, it's in his backyard. I think I want to go to that in Dallas. It's like on the 8th of September. The only bummer is I think it's only like a 2-hour event. So I'm like, man, that's a lot of driving for 2 hours. But
well, you got to bring your golf clubs.
Yeah, hanging out with Brad is pretty fun too. So
yeah, there we go.
But yeah, anything else? Well, sweet. Again, I thank y'all for joining, and sorry that we started late, but you'll get there, I promise you. When a client gets there and says, I want to go look at the $700,000 house, you go, okay, whatever time, doesn't matter. And I was like, I could squeeze in 1 to 1:30 and be there by 2. And it's like, yeah, not so much. So, but thanks y'all for being flexible with that. And thank you for being here. And I hope you got something out of it. And again, please feel free to reach out anytime with anything. I have my phone on me, text me, call me, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
See you guys.